interesting. The Supreme Court over the summer chose not to hear this case in an emergency petition. One of the reasons is because it's such an unusual case. Remember, this case that we were hearing about today was about Texas coming up with an ingenious enforcement mechanism where, you know, normally the Constitution protects you if the government tries to stop you from doing something, speaking, practicing your religion, or in this case, an abortion. But the Texas law was written, it specifically says Texas state officials do not enforce this law at all. It's private citizens, your next door neighbor, your friends. They're the ones that enforce the law in civil court, not in criminal court. So this was a very unusual case, but it also raised the possibility that Texas had come up with a way to circumvent Roe v. Wade, to just say, you know what, the Constitution doesn't apply to this case at all because it's really just someone suing an Uber driver or somebody who's suing a nurse who worked in an abortion clinic. And so that it doesn't involve Texas. Two justices today in particular, conservative justices, Kavanaugh and Barrett, I think we're sympathetic to the idea that that is a cynical way to avoid the discussion and that it circumvented the supremacy clause of the Constitution, which says that you should receive federal judicial review of a constitutional matter. And in this case, Texas figured out a way to opt out of it.
But and in fact, Kavanaugh brought up the scenario, couldn't this be used against other constitutional rights, such as the Second Amendment? Somebody could say, if you sell an AR-15, you can be sued by a private citizen for $1 million.
Yeah, think about, you know, in 2 days, we're going to hear a Second Amendment case out of New York where it's unlawful to take your gun, even concealed, outside of your house without proper cause. Well, what if it's my next door neighbor who saw me walk out with the gun, and he's the one that now brings a lawsuit for, forget $1 million, even $10,000, that he's the one that's enforcing the law, not the state of New York. That would be another way to override the Constitution by saying it's not the state action that is interfering with your constitutional right. It's your next door neighbor or your cousin, and the Constitution doesn't apply to next door neighbors or cousins. It applies to the government stopping you from doing something.
Yeah. And just to explain to folks at home what this Texas law would do, it would allow people to sue individuals for either performing, aiding, or abetting an abortion past or before 6 weeks. Was it 6 weeks?
Right, the heartbeat, 6 weeks.
That's why we say
anybody
like an Uber
associated
driver
with
that drove someone could end up being sued for up to $10,000.
You know, anybody, $10,000.
Well, and remember, other states have these fetal heartbeat laws, but in each of those instances, courts stepped in and put an injunctive relief to say, we are striking down, we're not allowing you to enforce that law because it violates Roe v. Wade. Yeah. Here, they came up with a novel way to circumvent it.
But they don't, which is the question, how would you enforce it? Where would the injunction go? Who would it be applied to? Not your next door neighbor, as you're kind of saying. And so that's it. So well, I don't want to get too lost in the details here.
Let me just quickly say, this is what they did, Bob. They said the clerk of the court,
right,
that person should never take the petition from you because he is now a state official that's stopping the exercise of a constitutional right. Or for that matter, a judge, a state court judge, he's preventing you. He works for the state, and that's the state enforcement. Yeah. It's not the Uber driver, it's the clerk of the court.
Yeah, we got to go, but in 10 seconds, would you agree that they seemed uncomfortable with this aspect of it, the enforcement of it, and the private citizens being deputized? It seems like they were uncomfortable.
In particular, Bob, I think Barrett and Kavanaugh did, and that gets them over the majority. And I think that they will eventually, I think, allow abortion providers to at least challenge the law in federal court.
But has nothing to do with the 6-week part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
not yet.
No, not yet. Mississippi coming down the pike is the one we'll deal with that. Thane Rosenbaum, thank you very much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.